Today, I'm going to be making Velveeta and sausage sloppy joes. And this is kind of based on the Rotel dip recipe. I had never heard of the recipe that I'm going to be making today until recently when a couple friends showed it to me. But before I get into it, I did want to show you, I picked up I guess it's an updated set of the Blackstone electric griddle tool set. And the old tool set consisted of the tongs and a couple of these spatulas that were the same size. Now in the meantime, I picked up this little cheap Farberware spatula. It's nylon, and it's really, I like it a little better for stuff like eggs because it's wider than the Blackstone. So I've been using this for quite some time, but I haven't made a Blackstone video that I could really use it in a while. But I did see this at the store recently, and it also comes with tongs, two different sizes of spatulas. There's the narrow one like came in the old kit like I already have. There's a wider one, and there is this one which is like a scooper spatula that has sides. And if you've cooked on the Blackstone, you know how slippery the surface can be. So I think that this one with the sides on it could really come in handy. I got the pack of new tools open, so here's a little bit better look at the spatula with the sides on it. I wish I could have just found this individually, but I think Blackstone wants you to have to buy a whole new set, or at least I couldn't find these sold individually. To make the Velveeta and sausage sloppy joes, I'm only going to need 2 ingredients, which are the Velveeta cheese and 1 pound of the Jimmy Dean sausage, which I like the hot. And I'm only going to be using half of a 16-ounce pack of Velveeta. And in addition to making the Velveeta and sausage sloppy joes, I'm also going to be making some burritos. And for that, I'm going to add some Rotel, and I have some green chilies. Because, you know, when you open up a can of Rotel, it's kind of like they throw just a few green chilies at the bottom, but there's never really enough in there for me. So I also have a small can of green chilies that I'm going to add. Both of these only for the burritos. For the sloppy joes, I like them pretty much, I don't want to say plain, but just with the sausage and the Velveeta. And I'm going to use hamburger buns to serve them on. Now, Velveeta is one of those things that it's not my favorite kind of cheese or cheese-like product. I've always felt that Velveeta came about after maybe a block of cheese and a piece of plastic got together and did some nasty things after a night of drinking. But it does have its place, and for this recipe you need something kind of sticky to hold everything together on the bun. So something like condensed cheddar cheese just won't work as well as Velveeta. So first I'll heat up my griddle, and I'm just going to heat it to 500 degrees, which is really, I start most things nowadays at 500 degrees because there's always going to be some cool down when I get the food on it, and that helps compensate for that initial cool down so that the temperature doesn't drop too much below what I want it to be. I've got my sausage divided up because I want half of it to be for the burritos and half of it to be for the sloppy joes, and I'm going to add the extra ingredients for the burritos. And I also have half of the block of Velveeta divided up so I can split it between the sausage. So first I'll put my sausage down. And I'm going to cook the sausage down until it's just about done before I add the Velveeta. And I'm also going to lower the temperature because if you cook the Velveeta at too high of a temperature, it tends to make the oil separate. So I definitely don't want that to happen. Okay, so the sausage is almost done, and I've been just kind of working it, breaking it up a little bit to be sure everything is cooked. So I'm going to lower the temperature down to just about probably 250 degrees. And next I'm going to add my Velveeta, and I'm just going to split it up between each side. And for this side, I'm going to add some of the Rotel and some of the green chilies because these will be for my burritos. And if you want to use the Rotel in the sloppy joes, that will be perfectly fine. So next I'm just going to kind of work this together. I want to get that Velveeta down on top of the griddle surface so it can start melting. And then I'll just keep kind of working it all together to get it nice and mixed up. Okay, I've got everything mixed in pretty well, and my Velveeta is now as melted as I want it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these off. And for that, I'll be using the new spatula with the sides on it. And I can already tell you this thing is way better than the previous spatulas. All right, let me turn the griddle off. So the sausage and Velveeta that has the Rotel in it definitely looks a little better because it has a little more color to it. And I did try using that one for the sloppy joes, but I didn't really feel that it added anything. But you could definitely use it on the sloppy joes if you wanted. First, I'll make the sloppy joe. And it's just as easy as spooning some of the mixture onto the bun. And this is where the Velveeta really helps kind of hold everything together, because I don't know, maybe you could use American cheese or something like that, but anything else is just going to really be a nightmare to keep it all on the bun. So there's that one. Next I'll make the burrito. And I'll probably end up overfilling this because I really have a bad habit about overfilling these burritos, and then it's hard for me to close them. All right, one more scoop. All right, let's see if I overfilled it. Yeah, I should have put it on the end. All right, and there is the burrito. So this whole meal, whether you're doing the sloppy joes or the burritos or both, is super quick. I mean, it really doesn't get much quicker than this. And I do like to do it on the Blackstone, although you can definitely do this in a skillet. But either way, it's a very, very quick meal. And for something being as simple as Velveeta and sausage, I think it's pretty good. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.